Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the IELTS Plus English podcast for a bonus episode. The most common case I have in this academy is someone coming to me and they are stuck at a band 6 and they want to get a band 7. You're all, or most of you listening to this podcast are preparing for IELTS or thinking about IELTS. And I think most of you will know if you're aiming for a decent university in the UK or elsewhere, very often they need you to have an average band, an average of a 6.0 or a 6.5. 6.5 is pretty common. So really, to get a 6.5 average, you should be aiming for a 7.0, band 7, for each element. Because of course, you're going to make mistakes in the exam. So if you get a band 6 in one, a band 7 in another section of the exam, then that's going to balance out as a 6.5. So really, we have to be aiming for a band 7. So as I said, the most common case, students come to me and say, Jack, I need a band 7 in my speaking. I really do, and I can't do it. I've taken the exam a number of times, and I'm stuck at a band 6. So today's a bonus episode, and what I want to do is give you 5 tips for moving from a band 6 to a band 7, and this is just based on my experience with IELTS learners, IELTS students who are preparing for the exam. And they're the 5 sort of common areas we have to work on together. So that's it. Today, bonus episode, no announcements, no student challenge. We're straight into it. 5 tips to move from a band 6 to a band 7 in IELTS speaking. Tip 1. Tip 1 is to paraphrase effectively. Now, specifically, when you get a question in IELTS, whether it's part 1, part 2, or part 3, I do like my students to repeat that question in the first line of their answer. So, if the question is, do you enjoy watching films? I do like a direct answer, which is, yes, I really enjoy watching films. Now, the band 6 to band 7 issue is that a band 6 student will do what I just did, and that's just basically repeat the question in the direct answer. What I want you to do to move to band 7 is effective paraphrasing. And that means really 2 things. Number 1, and the most important thing, is synonyms. And very often this means having your go-to synonyms, the synonyms you're very comfortable with. So if someone asks, or if an IELTS examiner asks you, do you think it's important to exercise? I would definitely want a band 7 student answering, I think it's absolutely paramount that we exercise. So, is it important to? Yes, it is absolutely paramount. What are the advantages of blank? I think the primary benefit of blank is, now, you don't have to copy me. That's just a way of paraphrasing, but you're taking these common question types and using synonyms and using some powerful language. You know, paramount, absolutely. These are powerful words. The other thing that you should be looking to do, if you can, is changing the order of the sentence. So if I look at this question here, do you think it's important to set goals? Okay, so we hear important. Let's use absolutely paramount. But set goals is at the end of the question. So I would, as a band 7, I'm trying to get a band 7. For me personally, goal setting is absolutely paramount. Okay, so I've changed the order. I've also used a powerful synonym. So paraphrasing, using the question in your first line of your answer, but mixing things around and changing the words, paraphrasing is your first way of moving to a band 7. My second tip. This is a really important one. I'll probably say that for every tip, but bring questions into your comfort zone. One of the biggest complaints or worries of students here is they say, Jack, there's these questions on geography, technology, politics, globalization. I don't know anything about these topics. I can't begin to tell you about globalization and the economics of it and the effect on my country's tourist industry. I don't know anything about it. It doesn't matter. With any tough topic, you can probably find a way to bring it into your comfort zone. Now, let me give you an example, and this is true. This happened recently. I had a student who is a very keen golfer, and she had a question about globalization. She didn't know what to say, and her answer was not good. So at the end of the lesson, I said to her, so how has globalization affected your country? Now, I want you to answer related to your game of golf. Talk about, have you seen any change in the game of golf in Korea because of globalization? And she told me a different answer, talking about, well, nowadays we can see lots of foreigners at the golf course, and you can see a variety of golf brands from Japan and the US and Europe. She gave me this very long, detailed answer with all this wonderful language, and suddenly, by focusing on an area that she's comfortable with, golf, and keeping it relevant to globalization, she increased to a band 7 very easily. So, of course, you do have to answer the question and it has to be relevant. But if it's a difficult topic, bring it into your comfort zone, your hobbies, your likes and dislikes, your career, your job. That's a really important thing. Number 3, have a strategy. Again, a huge issue I see with students that come here, they're working on their vocabulary, they're fixing their mistakes. It's all good. It's good things, but they don't have a repeatable strategy. Now, I don't mind how you do it. For me and my students, I recommend to them, use my textbook. Now, I will quickly tell you while we're talking about that is available on my website, britplus.net, and it does have my strategies and structures, but whatever you decide to do, find a strategy that works for you and use it every single question in your life until you're really comfortable with it. That's so big. Just practice with your strategy, and in the exam, you'll feel more comfortable. Tip 4, work on your bad habits. It seems an obvious one, but there's a few things I want to say on this, because I have these students that they're doing a really good job of learning new language. Maybe they're bringing the answers into their comfort zone, like I tell them. And perhaps they have a strategy, but they're not overcoming their habits, their bad habits. And that could be a pronunciation issue. You're not distinguishing P and F. It could be a grammar issue, when you talk about the third person and changing that verb. It could be past tense, not using the past tense with the verb. So simple things. So in an ideal world, you'll have a tutor, but not everyone can do that. That's fine. You could have a language buddy. Find someone online that you can practice with and help each other. make each other aware of your bad habits. And then most importantly, and for free, totally free, record yourself and listen. Try to identify your weaknesses and work on them. Okay, last one today, tip 5. And this is one I have given recently in an episode, but I want to emphasize it because it's just the easiest way to improve. High level, general use vocabulary. You need to identify perhaps 10 words that can be used in any answer. It doesn't matter what topic it is. For example, primarily. There's no restriction on when you could use that. That could be used in any answer. Let me just put it to the test. Here, do you think it's important to set goals? Yes, I think it's important to set goals. Primarily, we must focus on short-term goals. There you go. So I could bring up any topic here and use primarily or primary. As I said before, I do have a video, which is Band 9 vocabulary. I think that's the name. Those are high-level, general use vocabulary. You can use them for any question. And that's just, how long does it take to memorize 10 words and start using in your answers? We're not talking about 100. 10 words can give you a real boost from a Band 6 to a Band 7. So that's it. I think that those 5, think about yourself, consider which are you doing and which are you perhaps weak at, adding those to your IELTS answers and making sure you are doing a good job in all 5 of those areas. You'll go from a Band 6 to a Band 7. I feel pretty confident of that. And that's everything I have for you today. So I hope you enjoyed this bonus episode. A little bit different, no answers, but as I said, I hope that is helpful for you. And next week, we are back to our curriculum. And we are on episode 15, Future Goals. So study sufficiently hard this week. And I will see you next week to talk about future goals. Have a good week. Bye-bye.